Hi, welcome back to Robert Reed's The Sherlock Holmes puzzle book. We're gonna try this pressure gauge puzzle that we have definitely not tried before and failed. You quickly scan the gauges on the pipes. Some are broken and their needles are not showing any value. Others appear still to be operational and they indicate how much steam is passing through them. The steam is under pressure and travels only in one direction through the pipes. There are no signs of any leaks that might cause the numbers not to add up. You quickly deduce that if a gauge shows a number, the next two gauges, that is, one on each of the two pipes it's feeding directly into, should add up to that number. Sometimes where two pipes feed into one gauge, that gauge should show the total of the two pipes' steam added together, and so on down the pipes. Watson stares in perplexity at the pipes. To relieve the pressure in every sense, you must work out how much steam is in the system. What's the number on that last dial? Can you work it out, Holmes? Of course you can. You're Sherlock Holmes. You have 1 minute to solve this. Oh no, let's go real quick. So the input pressure is 43. The output is 3, 6, so that's 9, 5, so that's 14, and another 5, so that's 19. So 19 off of 43 is 24 because it's a closed system. And the only dead ends add up to 19, so therefore the answer is 24. Easy. Elementary, my dear Watson. I'm pretty smart that I thought of that in that moment of the pressure of like only just now realizing, because you saw in real time that I started reading and realized that I only had 1 minute to solve it, and then it occurred to me just in this moment and not like in the moments after already trying to do it the hard way and running out of time, because that didn't happen. But like, it didn't occur to me then. It occurred to me right now in this moment that in a closed system, I only need to subtract the elements that aren't in the pipes, and I don't need to do any of the calculations of like splitting it and stuff. I just need to subtract the stuff that isn't that, and then whatever goes into it has to come out minus the other, and that makes it a nice easy puzzle to solve. Super quick and easy. Solved it in 10 seconds? Man, I'm smart. I'm real Sherlock Holmes, me. So the answer is 24. If you can work out the final dial in time, turn to that number. I can, and I did. First time, every time. You sit on a throne of lies. A very steamy throne of lies. I must have some weird memories from another timeline that you didn't solve it correctly. I don't know what you're talking about. You must have weird memories from a different timeline. A race against time. Even as you finish your calculations, the glass in one of the valves shatters. Moments later, steam begins to jet out of one of the pipes. Perhaps the increasing pitch of the hissing means other things are about to break too. I don't think we can linger in here, Holmes, says Watson in high agitation. It's getting dangerous. He's right, of course, but you've noticed an engineering drawing poking from the front pocket of the engineer's overalls. You gently extract it. Perhaps it can be of assistance in deducing what has been happening here. You study the labyrinthine pattern of the pipes. Excuse me. Not that I know this firsthand from having experienced it already in an alternate timeline where we failed. But if I had screwed up and not solved that puzzle in time, it would have exploded immediately. And when I get it right, I have time to study a labyrinthine pattern of pipes? That's bullshit. It's so steamy in this engine room because of the pants are on fire. Yeah. The hissing increases, pressure is building in the system, but you can't help but spend time solving the puzzle it presents. Such is the affliction of a mind predisposed to chronic curiosity. You have 15 seconds to solve this maze. You don't need a stopwatch. Holmes and Watson takes 1 second to say distinctly. Holmes and Watson, what? Oh, okay. Holmes and Watson takes 1 second to say distinctly. So count Holmes and Watson 1, Holmes and Watson 2, Holmes and Watson 3 as you tackle the maze. Got it. Okay. Are we ready? We've got to start here, finish there. Holmes and Watson 1, Holmes and 1. That's right. That's fair, right? Okay, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, easy. I could do that in like 5 seconds. I think that's natural. That puzzle would have been like, geez, this guy, screw this, I'm setting this off now. That one's easy, look. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5. Like, literally like 5 seconds. What is everybody's second timer? Because I heard Mississippi is one that's often used in America, right? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. With me growing up, it's 1,000, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005. Holmes and Watson 1, Holmes and Watson 2, Holmes and Watson 3. Holmes and Watson 1, Holmes and Watson 2, Holmes and Watson 3. Hippopotamus. 1 hippopotamus, 2 hippopotamus, 3 hippopotamus, 4 hippopotamus. If you solve the maze in fewer than 15 seconds, turn to 70. I easily did. 70. A burst of inspiration. Ooh, and we've got the second of the key clues. As you quickly solve the maze, a sudden thought occurs to you. Returning to the torn note that you were handed at the start of the night, perhaps you should look at all the letters that have a nick above them. On its own, the clue might not seem like it makes any sense, but maybe it's part of a larger puzzle. You stroke your chin thoughtfully. The hissing steam reminds you that you need to get out of here. You leave the engineer where he lies. Go back to the office, turn to 32. So we can just walk out? So if we got the thing wrong, it exploded immediately and we died. Well, lost. And if we get it right, we've got 15 seconds to ponder a puzzle that doesn't lead to anything. And then we also have time to casually walk back out into the office. I would never count Mississippi-less, just like I must righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. It's, fuck, I can't remember. There was something I heard that turns that mnemonic on its head, just to fuck with people, and I can't remember what it is now. Righty... righty removey, lefty locky or something. I can't remember. Alright, well, if we'd have got it wrong 55, I just want to see out of my own curiosity for completion's sake. The maze is a little tricky, but you don't need to worry about that. The important thing is what Sun reminds you is to leave this particular engine house. So you still would have succeeded, but you just don't get your extra clue. All right, so we go back to the office 32, but once we're there, we can look at the note that we were handed. All right, all the letters with a nick above them. G. Oh, gee, mister. You're real strong. Name it. No. G-N-O-W. Gno. Can you see what I'm writing? Gno. For those people doing the anagram from before, here's your next set of them. Gnoel. 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 Gnoelpert. Gnoelpert. Ra. Gnoelptra. Ra. Ram. Ramst. G. Ramstg. Ramstg. Rumstger. Rumstgerb. Man, there's so many more letters with a nick above them than there were for nick to the left of them. Rumstgerbed. Alright. You saying a long ass word doesn't help at all. Say the letters. I will. At the end. Okay. The letters with a nick above them are G, N, O, W, E, L, R, P, T, A, R, A, M, S, T, G, E, R, B, D. I've never done a puzzle room. I'm starting to think I would just end up living there. Good morning, Xenozyne. How's it going? Missed your face something rotten. I missed your face something rotten. Sweet ref. Sweet ref, brah. Y'all get that? You need it again? I missed the letters. Fuck's sake. Listen up. Jesus. Alright, double check against what Jen said. G, N, O, W, E, L, R, P, T, A, R, A, M, S, T, G, E, R, B, D. That's the letters from above. Alright, back to 32. Back into the office. A narrow escape. You slam the door behind you as the steam engine threatens to blow. Back in the office, you pause to catch your breath. With no idea how to fix the Maudsley engine, you hope the problem will just sort itself out. The look on Watson's face suggests otherwise.
I think we should get out and alert the police, says Watson.
You're still bothered by the message from Moriarty about not having found the governor, whatever that means. But Watson is right. This is a murder scene, and you would be better doing your thinking far away from it. Scotland Yard can go about their unimaginative work here instead. Watson opens the door into the other engine room, the one on the right, and looks in. The Bolton and Watt engine is working away in there. But just as with the Maudsley engine room, there is no external door.
Dash it all, Holmes. There are no exits from these engine rooms on either side, so we're obliged to go through the boiler house.
But still your detective mind is distracted. You take the torn note from your pocket and look at it once more. Some of the letters have a nick beneath them. Consult the torn note and turn to the number you discover. Damn, that annoys me that I didn't notice this at the beginning. T-W-E, so obviously 20-something. T-W-E-N-T-Y 20 S6 or 7? 27. 27. 27. 27. I'm disappointed in myself for not noticing that when I first got the note. Not that I would have known what to do with the number until now, but oh well. Did you call him Moriarty? It's Professor Moriarty, damn it! I didn't spend all this time at Professor School to be called Moriarty. 27. Well, your powers of observation are still intact. You tuck the note back into your pocket and suddenly have a thought. Watson, have we looked beneath the rug? The doctor shakes his head.
It has thus far escaped our attention.
Watson lifts up a corner of the rug. A somewhat sinister sequence of chalked figures is revealed. You're familiar with all manner of secret writings. Indeed, you are the author of a trifling monograph upon the subject, in which you analyse 160 separate ciphers. But this is entirely new to you. If time were not so pressing, you would be able to relish the challenge more, but that is of no matter. You apply your methods. Turn to the number spelled out by the dancing men. Alright, so firstly, before we even apply anything, we know that... No, these are separate, actually. We know that all of the numbers, all of the letters in this number are distinct letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an 8-letter number with distinct letters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, incidentally, by the way, is the only letter when written out in English that is its own number. Most numbers, if you start a chain, if you start with any number, let's say 69, nice, SIXTYNINE, so that's 9 letters long. So then you go to 9, NINE, that's 4 letters long. So you go to 4, FOUR, 4, so it starts at 4. So if you start at any number in English and you spell out the word, spell out the number in English, then you take the number of letters in that, and that goes to the next number in the chain, and you do that all the way down. Almost all numbers in English end up at 4, and then 4 just loops back on itself because it's the only number that is its own number. There is, I think, one loop of numbers that's like 3 numbers long or something, and I can't remember what they are now. But there's a loop of numbers that just like link to each other in a circle. So 1 lends to 3, 3 becomes 5, 5 becomes 4. 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 5, 5 becomes 4. 4 becomes 4, 5 becomes 4. 6 becomes 3, becomes 4. 7 is 5, which is 4. 8 is 5, which is 4. 9 is 4. 10 is 3, which is 5, which is 4. 11 is 6. 11 is 6, which is 3, which is 5, which is 4. 12 is also the only number that 12 is the largest number that is only one syllable. 12. TWELVE, which is 6. 12 is 6, is 3, is 5, is 4. 13, you're starting to get into larger numbers now. I can't remember what the numbers, what the list, what the circle is. It might be that every number links to 4, but I can't remember. So we're looking for an 8-letter number, all with distinct letters. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many 8-letter numbers are there? We're up to 13, THIRTAAN. So one of the teens might be, so 13, but the teens will all be double E at the end here, and so these two should be the same letter. And they might be, technically speaking, because we might not have 26 distinct ones, we might have more than that, and each one links to a letter more than once, potentially. So it is possible that these aren't a direct replacement cipher, and we could have two semaphore designs linked to the same letter, technically speaking. But assuming that that's not the case, and it won't be the teens. So 20 isn't enough letters. 21, 22, 23, 24, TWENTY is not going to be 20 something. THIRTY, and then I'd only have enough for 2 letters left, so it's not going to be enough. FORTY, so 41 could work. So 40, FORTYONE, 41, 40, 42 wouldn't work because the T would be repeated. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. 46 would work. And this guy, aesthetically pleasing. He kind of looks like he is an X. So 46, so 41, 46 could work. 50, F-I-F-T-Y, F. So these are very similar to the same one. So that could just be a product of the drawing not being quite right, but I think in a puzzle book they're going to be more specific in their detail. Like this guy's leg is directly out perpendicular to the right, and this one's at a 45-degree angle. So I think those are two different ones. But if they were the same, then 50 could work. But I don't think they are the same. So 60 could work. S-I-X-T-Y 61. 66 obviously wouldn't, but 61 could work. So 41, 46, 61. 70s obviously it's S-E-V-E-N-T-Y. So 70 is not enough and doesn't leave enough for anything else. 80 is not going to be enough. 90, 9, N-I-N-T-Y would again have the problem with the N's. And then 100 and whatever is going to be too much. So we've got three options. It's going to be 41, 46, or 61. I think. So basically, if this first one's an F, we don't need to decode the rest. Sorry, no, if the first one's an S, we don't need to decode the rest. All right, let's see. So he's got a right arm up to 45-degree angle, his left leg straight down, his right leg out to 90. Okay, so like that, but with a bent leg. Can you see? Like that, but with a bent leg. That's what we're looking for. Interesting. Did we just go through them all and there was not one? Because that's the one I said it was like that, but with a bent knee. And there was none. There's that guy. That guy's an F, which would be 50. So that I think we've established that. I said this is a puzzle book. Surely they'd be stricter on their details. Apparently they're not, because this guy doesn't exist, but this guy does, and it's an F. And I said if these two are the same, then this is 50-something. So that is very disappointing. Sorry, book. I'm sorry, Ormond Saka, but you've not done a good enough job of precision, like attention to detail here. You needed an autistic pedant like myself. Let me... so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. That is clearly not the same as that. When you're talking about a puzzle book where like the angles and shit are going to matter, that is clearly not that, because that is out at 90 degrees, and then his ankle touches where his knee would be on the other leg. This is down at 45 degrees, and then his ankle touches the ground. These are definitely not the same thing. But that, as we can see here, is an F. That is the F, which means that the only number where that can be the case, where it's an 8-letter thing with an F in the third place, that's 50. That's going to be 51 or 56. So, disappointed. Let me just double check. I'm going to go through them all again, but I have done so once already. There is definitely not the one that I'm looking for. Nope. Nope. Okay, so all we need to look for is this guy doing a star jump, really, because if that's an E, then it's 51, and if it's an X, then it's 56. Star jump. Where are you, star jump? Star jump. E, so it's 51. Any Egyptologist could tell you those are different words. Maybe it's supposed to appear hand-drawn and like it's been hastily drawn, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. Anyway. So, 51. Bum, 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 from 27. Bum, 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 bum. A final door.
Why, Holmes, it's just a child's drawing, Watson cries. Oh, that's your idea, you reply knowingly. At first sight, it would appear to be some childish prank. It consists of a number of absurd little figures dancing across the floor upon which they're drawn. Why should you attribute any importance to so grotesque an object? In normal circumstance, these hieroglyphics would evidently have a meaning. The object of those who invented the system has apparently been to conceal that these characters convey a message, and to give the idea that they are mere random sketches of children. Having once recognized, however, that the symbols stood for letters, and having applied the rules that guide us in all forms of secret writings, the solution was easy enough. Watson hangs on your every word, waiting for you to provide the solution. But alas, on this occasion there is nothing more than another game to keep us incarcerated. He looks despondent. Not that you notice. You smooth down the corner of the rug. Very well, Watson. There is one door we haven't been through yet. That has to be the one leading to our liberty, although I doubt this is going to be a straightforward exit. You grasp the handle of the door in the north wall of the office and try to open the door.
That feels like we've got the wrong answer there. And I'm not happy with that. No, it is. It's definitely 50. I've just done it. It's 50 and then something E. It's going to be 51. That's... I'm going to try the only other numbers that it could have been. 40, 41. Just in case it's got a from 27. No, it doesn't. 46. It's not got a from 27. 51, 56. It's not got a from 27. 61. It's not got a from 27. 66. It's not got a from 27. So the only possible answer. So it's not. So it is. It does say 51, and there's no other possible thing you could have gotten it to say. And yet the whole puzzle doesn't mean anything. I don't understand. Like, that's... I guess what's happened here is that there is a disconnect between the world and the meta book, in that in order to move the book along, we need a number of a page to turn to, and the clues to the number have to be in world, but the pages have to be out of world. So Watson and Holmes can't be aware of the fact they're in a book and there's pages and page numbers, but they are aware of the fact there's a puzzle on the ground. So the puzzle on the ground leads to a number that is a number to a problem that doesn't exist in world. And so that is just saying, hey, you got the right page, so now you can know where to turn to next. But we need some way of Watson and Holmes dismissing what the number actually means, because the number is leading to a page and the page doesn't mean anything to them. But that's lazy and boring. And as a writer, I would solve that problem. I would go, cool, that's a problem that I've encountered. A clue that exists in world has to point to both an in-world answer that is satisfying and a page number. So the page number was 51. The in-world answer has to be something to do with 51. You have to include the 51 somehow in the story. I'm never writing a fancy book for fear that Rob will rip me to shreds. Employ me before you publish. Employ me as a fucking autistic pedant and be like, hey, I've written a fantasy book. Here it is. Edit it. Like, suggest all of the plot holes and problems so that when I publish, it's super strong. I'm guessing the writer didn't expect you to get the right answer straight away. Maybe if we're meant to disregard it, but it'll pop up later somehow. Here's where it all starts to break down. Plus all the jiggery-pokery that they did in order to sculpt 221AB into the help pages. They didn't actually do any jiggery-pokery for that. They just called it 221B. They didn't actually... It's not 200. It's not page 221, and it's not entry 221 because it only goes up to entry 112 before 221. So they just called their hint section 221A and 221B. Anyway, it's just a child's drawing. It means nothing. You smooth down the rug again. I doubt this is going to be a straightforward exit. You grasp the handle of the door in the north wall of the office and try to open the door. Open the door, turn to 72. 72. The boiler house. You step through the door into a large hall. It contains several large boilers with furnaces and crates of coal. On the far side of the door, on the far side is a door that, if your instincts are correct, opens to the outside. Steps lead down to the boiler house floor. You deduce from noises beyond the regular wheeze of the waterworks engines that there is someone working here. As you wait on the steps, observing your surroundings, a giant of a man carrying an equally enormous shovel steps out from between the boilers. A red kerchief is tied around his neck, which is not unlike that of a prize bull. He hasn't spotted you yet, and you might be able to use this to your advantage. His presence does not distract your keen eye from the figure of a dancing man scratched into the wall, which seems to be signalling to you. This is the picture, I guess. It says, does not distract your keen eye from the figure of a dancing man scratched into the wall, which seems to be signalling to you, but it absolutely does distract from the dancing man, which, even knowing it's there, I cannot see. Oh, wait, there. This guy? There's a tiny little man here, which, given that you are here, right? You wait on the steps, observing your surroundings. So you're on the steps over there, and you, from that angle, are meant to be able to see this on a wall that is pointed away from you. Now, I'm sorry, but that is not something you can see from there. Also, why have we got a box of 4 things here? We've got a man doing the YMCA with his leg out straight, which is that one, which is R. 3 is the number, or R is a letter output. So that just says 3 or R. But why is there 4 boxes here? Are there meant to be 4 dancing men? I guess not. I don't know what... I really don't know what this box, this box of 4 is for. Still better than being stuck under the sea with lasers and aliens. It is better than that. What's my favourite ever book I've read? I don't do favourites, I'm autistic. I loved a lot of books as a child that I've lost love for as an adult. As a kid, I loved the Harry Potter series. As an adult, I recognise that it is a bunch of garbage, really. It's really not well written at all. As a kid, I loved the Dan Brown series, like The Angels and Demons. Again, read it again as an adult, realised it was steaming garbage. So my favourite books aren't really a signifier of good books. I loved the Chronicles of Narnia when I was a kid. I have not read them again as an adult, and I'm afraid to do so. Have you read Harry Potter and the Methods of Rationality? Yes, I have. I haven't finished it, but I have read a significant chunk of it, and I loved it. From 16 for the 3? No? Okay, so that's wrong. The output is 3 of the Dancing Man on the Wall. For sure, 100%. He hasn't spotted you yet. You might be able to use this to your advantage. His presence does not distract your keen eye from the figure of a dancing man, singular, scratched into the wall, which seems to be signalling to you. 3, and then there's a box of 4. So this dancing man scratched into the wall says the number 3, or the letter R. Oh, there's a dancing man here beneath his arm, which again, you, from back here, would definitely not be able to see, so that doesn't make sense. That is... It's gonna be 4. The number is gonna be 4, because if it is a number, if we're looking at the letters, then this is a 4-letter number, which I've just mentioned is there's literally only one 4-letter number in English, and there's an R there. There's an R there. If this is an F, O, or U, we don't need the other two. His arm is up to the left, and his knee is bent, which again I think was the... Oh no, that's a lot like the F was from 50, but it's the opposite arm. Opposite leg, wrong leg. That's wrong leg. There we go, that one. U. There you go, U. So there's a U and there's an R, which means that there's an F and an O somewhere, but I don't know where. Oh, on the pipe here, there's a tiny little man on the pipe here. I recognise that one from the previous puzzle. That's the F from 50. So that's F, which means there's an O somewhere. I think that'll be the highest because it goes F and then there's a U and an R. So if you're going from top to bottom, there'll be somewhere between there and there will be an O. It is very difficult to see like this. Oh, there it is. I love that it says, the figure of a dancing man scratched into the wall seems to be signalling you. That's not scratched into a wall. That's not scratched into a wall. That's not scratched into a wall. That's scratched into a wall. And it's definitely not something you could see. Alright, so turn to number 4. And also, if that was clear, like, what a weird thing to like show them. Oh, it's going to be a 4-letter number. What number could it be? It's a 4-letter number. The Dan Brown books are throwaway things. They're good the first time and then toss. Yeah, they're popcorn books, fun but not filling. Or fast food books, maybe tasty but not nutritious. Yeah. A implies 1, yes, and there's 4. An insolent giant. Your step down into the stone flags. Your step down onto the stone flags. That's a typo. You step down onto the stone flags, their slight unevenness exaggerated by the powder shadows of coal dust. You pass racks of tools, tubs of grease, and pair of tar barrels. There is a cabinet that contains a neat row of labelled bottles, which immediately attract your attention because you have more than a passing interest in the chemical sciences. Sadly, you don't have the time to inspect them. You slink between the boilers, and the noise of the furnaces keeps your footsteps hidden. You're close enough now to inspect the giant man who is still shoveling coal into the firebox of one of the boilers. All of a sudden, the giant boilerman stops his work, straightens up, revealing himself to be a whole head taller than you, and stares in your direction. You're caught in the open and have no time to hide. Rather than getting flustered, you nod in an attempt to be civil while prudently maintaining your distance. The boilerman hefts his shovel into both his huge hands in a way that suggests it's not just coal that he plans to throw around. He offers a faint smile. Clearly, he's been expecting you. Watson coughs awkwardly, and the two of you decide to continue your traversal of the boiler house to the external door. The stoker makes no attempt to stop you, insolently watching you both as you walk through his domain. When you reach the door, instead of finding your freedom, you discover a clock-like contraption attached to it, with wires through both the door handle and hinges, attached to a collection of flasks and tubes, clearly marked explosive. Exit is not going to be straightforward. Not with that attitude. Examine the contraption. Turn to 110. I wonder how close we are to the end, because it's midnight. A deadly door.
I don't like the look of this, Holmes, says Watson grimly. We can't hope to exit through here.
You examine the contraption again, being careful not to touch anything. It's clear that you can't get past the door without either disarming the trap or detonating the flasks, which you presume contain appropriate amounts of glycerol, sulfuric acid, and nitric acid. Judging from the quantities, there's enough here to blow away a whole man, and possibly 2/3 of his loyal doctor companion too, if he stood as close as he is standing now. You deduce that the clock face at the centre of this device is the key. If you set the hands to the right time, you'll be able to open the door without it blowing up. You just need to pick the right time, and you haven't yet calculated what that is, so you won't be getting out any time soon. Don't forget to ask Watson to keep a note of any times in his notebook. If you want to walk back to the office to look for more clues, turn to 78. If you want to attempt to disarm the contraption manually, turn to 6. Well, we know from the office that the time we were given, the only time that's been mentioned in the whole book so far, was 19 minutes to midnight. But we had no reason to believe that that was not just an actual time of what it was. So if we go back to the office with the 78, it might be that we find out through doing so that the clock is still at 11:41, in which case maybe that's the answer. Or we turn to 6, attempt to manually disarm the bomb and take the risk. Given that we have been given a time, it kind of feels like we should probably just use that time. What do you feel like? What do you guys think? If you do we walk back to the office to look for more clues, or do we attempt to disarm the contraption using the only time that we have? Risk it. I can risk it, mate. Disarm it. Clues, more clues. Ooh, couple risks, couple of clues. Come on, give me a tiebreaker. We've got 2 people saying risk, 2 people saying clues. And everybody else lurking, I guess. Alright, clues. Clues it is then. Walk back to the office to look for more clues. Turn to 78. As you walk back through the boiler house, you look over to the giant stoker, standing by the open firebox of the furnace he's been feeding. He's leaning on his shovel watching you, and he still has the slightest of smiles playing across his otherwise impassible slab of a face. Before you reach the steps back up to the office, you notice the chemicals in the cabinet once more. Something's very odd about the labels demanding your attention. After all, you're something of a scientist yourself. The chemistry bench back at your lodgings in Baker Street affords endless hours of diversion and distraction in the intolerably tedious lulls between cases. You can't resist looking at the labels more closely. Watson stops and looks too. He's not unfamiliar with chemicals himself, being a medical man, but he doesn't share your knack for spotting patterns and hidden codes. Examine the bottles, turn to 40. First, let's actually examine the bottles on the picture, in case there's secrets here. Jeebus, that's a lot of lag, and they just reloaded the stream 10 minutes ago too. Why is there so much lag? Risk it for the Oreo biscuit. I mean, I could like count the number of bottles that have labels, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Oh man, they missed a fucking trick there. There's 42 bottles with labels here. And it's about the bottles have... you can't resist looking at the labels more closely. And then it says, examine the bottles, turn to 40. Like, all you need to do is remove two of the labels from the bottles on this image, like two of the pictures, two of the little white marks, and just don't tell me what it is. Turn to the right number. Just have it say, examine the bottles, turn to the right number. And then give me the clue of realizing, give me the job rather of realizing the clue of, you can't resist looking at the labels, count the labels, 40. So close. $40. An elementary code. There is a list of the chemicals on the inside of the door. The bottles are arranged in the same order. Some of the elements sound extraordinarily fanciful to you, and you feel as if you know things that even a Victorian consulting detective could not possibly know. How strange. So it's making a tongue-in-cheek joke about what we talked about at the very start of this reading, when people are like, is it a period-appropriate periodic table of elements? No, it is not, but it's making a joke of it. The list shows thorium, rhenium, einsteinium, carbon, oxygen, rhenium again, tungsten, iodine, thorium again, nickel, neon, molybdenum, and finally rhenium again. Each bottle has a label for its chemical symbol, but they've been left blank. It's an elementary code that you're eager to decipher. Whew, let's see if I can remember these things off the top of my head. Thorium, rhenium, einsteinium, carbon, oxygen. So thorium, is it a T? Is it a TH? Rhenium. Rhenium, I think, might just be an R. Einsteinium? Is that just an E or is it something else? Einsteinium. I can't think of any other elements that are just an E. So it might just be an E. So if it's TRE or THRE, and then carbon is C and oxygen is O. Tungsten is W because it used to be called wolfram, and then the Brits agreed to change wolfram to tungsten because that's what the Americans called it, and in return the other half of that deal was that the Americans would put the I back into aluminium where it's meant to be, and then the Americans fucking reneged on their deal. Bastards. So that's a W, iodine's an I, thorium is a T or TH probably. Wit. Nickel is just an N, I think. Neon is N-E? N-E, pretty sure. Molybdenum, probably M. Rhenium again, R. Is it M-O, maybe? So what would that be? W, so CO, core, Corwit, core with, so that's a TH is going to be, so thorium is going to be TH because it's going to be with. Nickel's Ni, isn't it? Yeah, because nitrogen's N. Ni is nickel, neon is Ne, so that's 9 with 9. So this is going to be TH is rhenium Re, because molybdenum could be Mo, and then rhenium's going to be Re, more, More. So that's going to be Nine More, so 9 more with 9 more. So THRe, so 3, and then Einsteinium is an E, so THREE, 3 core, 3 core with 9 more. So it says 3 core with 9 more. So 12. Turn to the number hidden in the chemicals. 12. 3 core with 9 more. That can only be 12. Is from 90, so that's wrong. Fuck. 3 core with 9 more. Alright, let's turn to the 3 score. Oh, 3 score with 9 more, yes. Because the Einsteinium can have an S on the end. 3. I was like 3 core, so like start with 3 core is just 3 to start with. 3 score with 9 more. Okay. I did pretty well for just remembering and working out what the elements were. And given that Einsteinium is one of the ones that a Victorian consulting detective could not possibly know, I'll give myself a pass on that. 3 score with 9 more is going to be 69. Nice. 3 score with 9 more. A secret drawer. It's 3 score with 9 more, a secret drawer. 3 score with 9 more is going to be what I'm calling a 69 now. They're like, hey baby, you know, try 3 score with 9 more. You did, have a cookie. Thank you. I might. No, I've already had 3, I don't need more. Just looked up Shoskanth on Wiki, but nothing on no one has that name, so I'm unsure why it's called that. It's just a D&D thing, I don't know. Einsteinium's ES. Is there any E's in the periodic table? Just E on its own? No. All have... Oh, uranium has a U, just a single letter. But every other element in the lower half of the table, we've got a W and a Y for yttrium and an I for iodine. Okay. So we've got Y, I, W, U, and otherwise all of the single letters are potassium or sooner. Oh no, vanadium, potassium, sulfur, phosphorus, and then Beknoff. 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 V. Beknoff. V. E-I-woo. E-I-woo. There's no A on its own and there's no E on its own, but there's one of each other vowel. I-O-U-Y. Okay. Three score with 9 more. Sounds like a swingers party. It's making me painfully aware I'm not that smart, but I'm pretty sure I've worked out how to not end up locked in a puzzle room forever. Just take my smartest friend and let them at it and jump in with the praise and witty recourse. Where was I? 3 score, 9 more. Secret drawer. Your cogitation is interrupted by the noise of the stoker slamming the cast iron door shut on the firebox he's been feeding. You hear his heavy boots walking in your direction.
I think we should go back into the office, says Watson.
Before you depart, you run your fingers along the underside of the shelf. Your suspicions are correct. There's a hidden drawer. And you slide it open. It's empty, but you notice a pattern has been scratched into the base. You pull the drawer all the way out so you can inspect it more clearly. Examine the pattern, turn to 22. A maze in a drawer. The wooden board that forms the bottom of the drawer has a maze-like pattern scratched into it. Watson hurries past you and up the stairs.
Don't loiter, Holmes,
he chides as he passes. You have 15 seconds before the giant stoker's upon you. You don't need a stopwatch, blah, blah, blah. Alright, and go. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000... 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, 12,000. There's no way to solve this. That's the solution. There's no way to solve. Because this is broken. There is a broken path. Yeah. There is a broken path all the way around it, so there's no way to solve it. So, I'm first going to say that I solved it within 15 seconds, because that's the wrong answer, and I think that the book's going to chide me for it. I think the book's going to be like, no you didn't. Bounding up the stairs, you enter the office. Watson is waiting for you. He shuts the door as soon as you're through. He looks at you oddly as if he's disappointed in you. It's a fleeting glance, and besides, you have more important things to do than worry about Watson's judgmental opinion. Love that. The book's like judging you, being like, no you didn't. Turn to page 49 if you did that back in the office. But I did not solve the maze in time. Turn to 50. Because I am honest, and I honestly can say that I did not solve the unsolvable maze. Oh, interesting though that the Watson's judgment, if you claim to have solved it, it doesn't just send you back onto the right path with a bit of a snide judgment. It sends you onto a different path. You sit down at the desk and compose your thoughts. You're trapped in a pumping station, but there's never been a time when thinking hasn't solved a problem. So you examine the bundle of documents you took from the safe and see what else can be discovered. As you sort through the papers, you notice a picture postcard with a square of numbers printed on it. Examine the postcard. Turn to 56. Oh, interesting. So if you, that's weird. That's a weird editing, publishing choice, layout choice, I guess. Whoever the layout designer is, because if you were honest and said I didn't solve the maze in time, which is the only honest answer, you go to this before it sends you to this, which sends you onwards to the next thing. But if you are not honest, it stays on the same page and tells you no, you're not honest, and then you turn to this without having to see this. And so don't put these on the same page, because if you weren't honest about it and said that you solved it in time and you didn't, you shouldn't get access to this, so you shouldn't be able to see it. So don't put them on the same page. Knowing there's no path is a solution. A resolution, yeah. But it says if you solved the maze... Yeah, I suppose you solved the maze because the puzzle of the maze was that there's no solution. Anyway. A discarded ticket. The giant stoker is almost upon you. You dash up the stairs but stumble and fall. You're not hurt, but as you reach out instinctively to save yourself, your hand touches something on the stone step. You discover a discarded train ticket for yesterday's 2:15 afternoon stopping service from Waterloo to Brentford. The ticket has been clipped, so it's been used, and is of no obvious value. Nonetheless, you are by your nature a hoarder, so you slip the ticket into your pocket, quickly get back to your feet, and escape through the door. Metropolitan Railway, Waterloo, Series 1 to Brentford, P1368, A002, whatever all this means. Third class, 2:15 p.m. So I guess I'll go back to Watson's notebook and I'll write in indelible ink 02:15. There you go. Just deface this book a bit more. Isn't Waterloo in Belgium? Isn't that the train that the crutch was lost on? Ooh, that's a very good point, Mater. I had forgotten about that part. Did it say that it was lost on a train, Waterloo? Waterloo. Da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-doo. You're trapped in the blah blah blah. You examine the bundle of documents you took from the safe. You notice a picture postcard with a square of numbers printed on it. Examine the postcard, turn to 56. This is going to be the magic square that we saw before, yeah. The magic square. Watson looks over your shoulder and nods knowledgeably.
Well, Holmes, that's what they call a magic square, he says. Every column and every row adds up to the same number.
You don't agree or disagree, so he continues.
And furthermore, that's Dürer's magic square from Melancholia 1, unless I'm very much mistaken.
He seems surprised by your silence.
I'm not mistaken, am I, Holmes?
You smile.
No, Doctor, you are not.
He puffs up his chest and is about to say something when you add,
except this one's wrong. Someone swapped two of the numbers.
Add the two misplaced numbers together and turn to your answer. Ooh. Okay, that should be easy enough to find out, I think. So, magic square, as the good doctor says, every column and every row adds up to the same number. So that is 14 and 16, so 30. So this adds up to 30. That's 15, 26, 34. So one of these is obviously wrong. So 30, 34, 15 and 7 makes 22. 22 and 16 makes 38. So we've got 30, 34, 38. And then we've got 19, 20, 34. So these two are 34, these two are 30 and 38. So we need two numbers that are 4 apart, because the higher number has to be in this one, the lower number has to be in this one. This is 4 less than it should be, this is 4 more than it should be. So 12 and 16. So if the 16 was there, then we would subtract 4 from here, add 4 to there. They would all become 34. Let's just double check it by checking the columns as well. That is not going to work, I think. No, it is, yeah. 10, 25, 31, 34. 25, 27, 34. So 34, 34 already. This should be 4 less. This should be 30. This should be 36. That's 15, 20, 32. No, that's 13. I was like 13, 18, 30. 17, 38. Yeah. So 16 and 12 have been swapped. 16 and 12 have been swapped. Add them together, you get 28. 28, turn to the answer. 28. This is fun. I like this book. I am going to have to call it soon, though. It is 20 past midnight. A one-pipe problem. You put down the postcard. There's going to be more puzzle solving to do here, you're sure. So you take your pipe from your pocket before spreading upon the desk some more items from the safe. Light your pipe. Turn to 38. Smoking your pipe. Damn, a lot of things move to this thing. 8, 21, 23, 28, 44, 62, 68, 95 and 101 all lead to this section. You close your eyes, lean back in your chair and take a long, inspiring pull on your pipe. The blue smoke curls up towards the ceiling. When you open your eyes, you feel ready to deal with the items on the desk in front of you. A white envelope, a black notebook, and a folded green plan. If you want to pick up the envelope, turn to this. If you want to pick up the notebook, turn to that. If you want to pick up the green plan, turn to this. If you want to get up and explore the right-hand engine house, turn to that. If you want to enjoy your pipe and wait until the morning, turn to that. Just enjoy your pipe and wait until morning. I'm kind of curious to see that, and then we'll leave it there, I think. We just think, I don't want to explore any of these things, actually. I'm just going to enjoy my pipe and wait until morning. Implicated. You resign yourself to being stuck in the pumping station and light your pipe once more. If only you had your violin with you, blah, 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 and then you just get arrested. Whatever it is. Cool. We'll leave it there for now. We are enjoying our pipe and about to investigate a whole bunch of stuff on the desk in front of us. If you're loving this Sherlock Holmes series, I've actually got 2 more of the books to be reading later this year. So make sure you're following me on Twitch, because then you'll be notified when I go live to read one of the books.